Thanks for joining us on 21 Alive News Plus. I'm here with First Alert meteorologist Noah Gordon. And Noah, we have a First Alert weather day happening right now. Tell me more about this.
Yeah, really, if you've been outside this afternoon, it's really yet another beautiful day out there, but that humidity's been increasing and so have those clouds, a sign of sign that really the weather is changing this afternoon. So we'll go ahead and start with a look at the satellite and radar. You can see maybe a little bit more of a cloudy start to your day than we would have expected, but that sunshine has quickly replaced that and it has warmed us up and added some fuel to the atmosphere. And really over the last hour, you can start to see some of those showers really popping really along US 31 south of South Bend. And that's going to be the story here as that cold front finally arrives into the area really over the next couple of hours. And you can see that line of storms beginning to develop along the Indiana-Illinois state line, expecting those to move east into our area really right around drive time this evening, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, perhaps as late as 10 p.m., some of which could be on the stronger side this evening. As such, we really thought it was able to really issue that first alert weather day really for some strong to severe storms. Nothing widespread expected, but definitely a few storms on the stronger side could see that damaging wind threat throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. So let's go ahead and track this out with FutureTrack. You can see those showers really arriving right along that I-69 corridor right about 5:30. So a lot of folks headed home from work at that hour. Definitely people traveling, you're going to want to make sure that you keep an eye on that First Alert weather app this afternoon and evening, as things could get a little bit heavier in terms of those downpours and maybe a few brief gusty wind reports. The good news is this really begins to weaken as it moves east throughout the evening, 7, 8 o'clock, really seeing it fall apart as it gets towards northwest Ohio. Still wouldn't rule out an isolated warning or two as it begins to progress further east, but it is going to gradually weaken. Still seeing some showers in the area as we head towards the evening hours, but as you can see, overnight we really begin to dry out, and then perhaps some fog to start your Thursday morning, and overall though, dry, and we're still going to have that warmer weather as we head towards the back half of the work week. Obviously, that severe weather outlook still in that 2 out of 5. That's that slight risk for severe weather for nearly all of our region. The bigger threat I do think is going to be to north and west of the city of Fort Wayne. We'll break it down by categories here. Obviously, wind I think is going to be the major concern with any of clusters of storms this evening. Can't rule out a brief spin-up tornado threat, although I do think that is low. Hail elevated and winds elevated, especially this afternoon. Like I mentioned, this is going to be perhaps a broken line that moves through our area, so it may be a little bit disorganized, and a few areas may see some of those stronger winds, while a few others may not see as significant wind. But definitely still a few warnings. Wouldn't be ruled that out of the question this afternoon and evening as things begin to shift off to the east. After that, though, humidity drops just a little bit as we head towards Thursday, but you see the general trend, and especially on that graph, spiking as we head towards next week. A return to, yes, unfortunately, some more muggy air and some warmer temperatures as we end off the month of August and head towards the first couple days of September. So still watch out this evening for a few of those stronger thunderstorms. We'll have it all on our newscast throughout the evening, tracking those developing storms. But notice as we head towards the start of next week, those temperatures really warming up. It feels like really warming up for the first time in a while into the upper 80s, with that humidity really making it feel a lot more like summer once again as we end off the month of August. 86 by the time we start off September as we head towards the middle of next week. But overall, things are returning to a summer-like pattern, at least in the short term, and definitely make sure to take it slow out there tonight if you get under one of those severe downpours.
And Noah, I do want to ask, last time we saw some storms or severe storms, they were intense. Could this be anything like that?
Thankfully, we're not seeing that. Really, I do think this is much more and much closer to a more garden variety summer storm threat that we would typically see. So definitely a nuisance, and really the timing of day I think is important here. You know, a lot of folks headed home from school practices, headed home from any sort of practices outside, headed home from work, especially right around that evening commute when we see those showers coming through. Not going to be nearly as significant as what we saw a couple of weeks ago, especially across portions of northwest Indiana, but enough to make you just a little bit more cautious as you're headed home this afternoon.
We do have that Tin Caps game kicking off at Parkview Field at 6:35 p.m. tonight. Do you expect it will affect that?
I think it's going to be pretty close. Really, we have that timing of
come
those
on, Mother
storms.
Nature.
always adding a little bit to some of those baseball games,
Yeah.
and especially in the last part of their season. You know, people trying to catch one more game before the end of the baseball season. I do think it's going to be cutting it close, and especially the first half of that game, maybe a few delays are possible. Things do dry out towards the end of the evening and perhaps towards the later parts of that game. So hopefully a delay rather than a cancellation, and hopefully just in general things stay dry out there for that field game tonight. tonight at Parkview Field.
Well, I'm hoping so, Noah. It is Paws and Claws tonight, and this is my favorite night to go look at the dogs. So I'm hoping. Thank you so much, Noah. All right, well, we have breaking news right now. If you are about to jump on the highway for your afternoon commute, we want to give you the first alert to avoid I-469. A major crash has shut down the freeway in both directions, well, a portion of the freeway in both directions. Now, here's some background. The crash did happen just before 2 o'clock this afternoon between Wheelock Road and St. Joe Center Road. And actually, we're getting a live picture right here. These are the INDOT cameras, and as you can see, traffic is still stalled. I was on here live about like 2:15, and that is the same traffic stalled in that same area. You can see emergency vehicles coming down the other way. And the Allen County Sheriff's Department and state transportation officials have blocked out all those lanes. It's to clear the traffic and is helping people who may have been in that crash. But as you can see, that traffic is backed up, not moving at all. And right now we are working to find out more details on the crash, of course, but for now, we just think we want you to know. We want to give you the first alert to establish that alternate route. We'll also breaking today, let me get this up for you. Also breaking today, if you are a parent constantly fighting to get your kids off Instagram and Facebook, big nationwide changes are coming to their phones, and Indiana is getting a multi-million-dollar payout as a result. So Attorney General Todd Rokita has submitted a landmark $17.1 billion settlement with Meta, resolving a lawsuit filed by 47 states and 4 territories. The lawsuit filed in California federal court accused Meta of knowingly designing harmful, addictive features to hook children and teens while secretly documenting the mental health harms and failing to warn parents. So right now, Indiana is guaranteed $296 million and up to $419 million. Rokita says this is the largest consumer protection settlement since the big tobacco fight of the 1990s. The funds will actually go directly to helping affected Hoosier families coping with anxiety, depression, and eating disorders. The deal also force feeds sweeping new tech rules to protect teens. So, for the next 5 years, there will be a combined 2-hour daily time limit on Facebook and Instagram with mandatory what they're calling productive pauses after 15 minutes of continuous use. And then again at 60 and 90 minutes just to stop that endless scrolling. Other safety measures include nighttime blocks, kicking teens off from midnight to 6 a.m., and silencing push notifications on school days between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Meta must also boost age verification tests, build stronger controls against bullying, self-harm, and disordered eating, and give parents easier tools to opt their kids out of a compulsive algorithm. The settlement even limits social comparison features like beauty filters and visible count likes. So, in a statement, Meta's chief legal officer, CJ Mahoney, called for competitors like TikTok and YouTube to join them, saying an industry-wide solution is crucial to protect kids on all apps. And as a bonus, the landmark deal finally settles separate state claims over Facebook sharing private user data with outside firms like Cambridge Analytica ahead of the 2016 election. Rokita calls this a milestone victory that will empower parents and force tech giants to prioritize kids over profits. The agreement is pending final federal court approval. The Fort Wayne Police Department has taken a suspect off the streets, arresting this man at his workplace for a series of horrific crimes against kids. That's 28-year-old Alejandro Lugo, and he's now in the Allen County Jail. That's actually his mugshot from the Allen County Jail. Police say the investigation stems from an incident back on July 26 on Wadsworth Court near DuPont and Lima Roads. After detectives conducted gentle forensic interviews with 2 children at the Dr. Bill Lewis Center, both victims confirmed they had been abused. That led police to Lugo, who now faces 3 major charges: rape, child molesting, and sexual misconduct with a minor. He is currently being held without bond, and we're going to keep you updated on this case as it moves to court. If you get your water from Aqua Indiana, listen up. Your monthly bill could jump by 30%. State regulators are holding a crucial field hearing in Fort Wayne tonight at 6 o'clock to get your feedback on the massive proposed rate hike. So it's happening at the Downtown Library Theater, and they're opening the floor for public comment. They want to hear from you. So Aqua Indiana serves about 14,000 customers across 21 counties, and the pushback is already growing. Fort Wayne City Utilities is officially urging state regulators to block the request. And if you want to protect your wallet, tonight is your chance to make your voice heard. Again, that meeting starts at 6 o'clock sharp at the downtown Allen County Public Library Theater. If you are still recovering from the catastrophic storms that ripped through Indiana earlier this month, critical help is on the way, but so is a fight for accountability. According to the Indiana Capitol Chronicle, President Donald Trump has officially approved a major disaster declaration for the state, unleashing millions in expedited federal aid. Individual assistance is now open to families in 21 hard-hit counties, including Marion, Lake, and LaPorte, is to help rebuild and cover those uninsured losses. 11 counties are also approved for the public funding to repair shattered public infrastructure. The devastation from the August 11th severe storm is staggering. 8 people lost their lives. At least 44 homes were completely destroyed. Nearly 1,000 sustained major damage, and total property losses could soar up to $5 billion. At the peak, over 363,000 Hoosiers lost power, and while utility crews worked round the clock to restore service, Governor Mike Braun says NIPSCO management failed and has broken its bargain with ratepayers. The governor is directing a formal utility investigation into NIPSCO's infrastructure, spending, and tree maintenance, which is already the subject of a proposed class action lawsuit by frustrated residents. If your home or community was damaged, you can start applying for that disaster assistance immediately. We have the full list of approved counties and application details on our website right now. And we do have breaking news right now. I did have someone come on back and let me know what is going on. So let me pull this up. This has to do with that I-469 crash. Let me pull up the email I was just received, and I'm going to read it to you. Here we go. So this is confirmed information. According to the Allen County Public Information Officer, Amir Morgan, this was a fatal crash here on I-469. It looks like a head-on collision. A black Jeep was going the wrong way. Northbound and southbound lanes collided with a white Ram work truck. Again, this is from the Allen County Sheriff's Department. Police aren't sure why the Jeep was traveling in the wrong direction. 2 vehicles were involved in the crash. Now, this is very important. I-69 southbound. Just I-69 southbound. It's going to be closed for the next 3 to 4 hours. All right. Again, this is new information in that crash I'm bringing you right now. We want to give you the first alert, of course, as we continue to find out more information. Now, according to the Allen County Sheriff's Office, we just found out this was a fatal crash. So I-469 southbound is where it took place. They say it looks like a head-on collision with the black Jeep was going the wrong way. They were going northbound in southbound lanes when they collided with a white Ram work truck. As of right now, police are not sure why the Jeep was traveling in the wrong direction, but we have confirmed it was a fatal crash involving 2 vehicles. And we also want to give you the first alert that I-469 southbound will be closed for the next 3 to 4 hours. We're going to keep you updated on this crash. Now, this is actually a live look from INDOT cameras at this area right now. It looks like they're almost looping traffic on that little side divot to get people out of there because, like I've been saying, they have been at that standstill since 2:15 when I first came on here about this crash, so it looks like they're looping them through. If we find out anything more, of course, we'll come back to it and I will keep you updated. Now, back to your. Oh, we're going over that storm damage. And I do want to give you the first alert. If you are still struggling to clean up or get any help after, there is a new, incredible, easy way to get assistance. So, Governor Mike Braun announcing today a new texting tool from Indiana 211. If you need disaster recovery resources, all you have to do is text IN211 help. And actually, you can see this in this graphic right here. I did put all that information. And you're going to text that to the number 898211. This is a 24/7 service, and it will immediately prompt you for your zip code and then text you a list of specific services and aid programs available right in your neighborhood. Braun says families who have lost so much shouldn't have to spend hours digging through the website for help. If you don't want to text, you can still call 211. Also new from Governor Braun today, as those students head back to campus across Indiana, we have some good news on college costs. Governor Mike Braun's statewide tuition freeze is officially in effect for all 15 of Indiana's public colleges and universities. At the governor's request, public schools have frozen tuition and mandatory fees for in-state undergrads, covering both main and regional campuses. The price freeze, which started for the 2025 to 2026 academic year, is now going to continue through the entire 2026 to 2027 school year. State leaders say the move is aimed at making a college degree much more affordable, accessible for all Hoosier families. The entertainment world, sadly, let me get this up. The entertainment world sadly has lost another absolute legend today. Tim Curry, the star of many cult classics and blockbusters, has died. NBC's Aaron McLaughlin has a look back at his life and career.
I suggest we take the cook's body into the study. Why? I'm the butler. I like to keep the kitchen tidy.
Tim Curry had a way of disappearing into his roles.
I, Georgie, am Pennywise the Dancing Clown.
Delighting audiences for more than 50 years.
I'm just a sweet transvestite from trans.
His iconic portrayal of the mad scientist Dr. Frankenfurter in the Rocky Horror Show catapulted the unlikely stage hit to the silver screen and solidified it as a cult classic.
After I did Rocky Horror, which was one part in drag, you know what I was offered? The Brooke Shields part in Blue Lagoon.
Curry was a British actor who effortlessly crossed the line between comedy
We are a family, a single unit.
and drama, often tasked with darker roles.
The villains or the more kind of off-center people are much more interesting to play. But after a while, taking home a psychopath at the end of the day is not a lot of fun,
His renowned career began with a lie, when in 1969 he fibbed about theater credentials in order to nab his first professional part in the musical Hair, kicking off a career of dizzying range.
We have a quest.
In cinemas,
A limousine and a pizza, compliments of the Plaza Hotel.
in cartoon,
I'm afraid I've lost the sight in my eye.
Move your hand, Nigel.
What a woman.
and with a variety of co-stars.
It's one for all for one.
The actor was always shifting gears. Curry even released a few records. A stroke in 2012 left him paralyzed and limited his public appearances, but it didn't keep him from working or dreaming.
The thing that resonated for me more than anything was don't dream it, be it.
Something he learned at the beginning.
Don't dream it, be it.
Aaron McLaughlin, NBC News, Los Angeles.
What a tragic loss that is right there. And speaking of loss, right now, Governor Mike Braun is directing all Indiana residents, local businesses, and government buildings to immediately fly flags at half-staff. This urgent directive follows the heartbreaking news that Dolly Parton passed away suddenly yesterday at 80 after a battle with cancer. Ron is calling on the entire state to honor Dolly's life starting right now, with flags remaining lowered until 6 o'clock Tuesday night. And Dolly Parton may be gone, but she's not quite done bringing us joy. She has left the world one final secret parting gift. It's an unreleased, locked in a vault song set to be officially released on her 100th birthday in the year 2046. The trailblazing icon recorded the track as a special surprise, making sure her voice will sing to us once again. It's a gift we will have to wait for, but something tells me it's going to be entirely worth the wait. Dolly Parton was a powerhouse with 10 Grammys and 25 #1 hits. But it was her massive personality and philanthropy and heart that truly captured our souls. There truly will never be another like her. ABC's Robin Roberts has more on the life and legacy of our beloved Dolly.
In her 6 decades in show business, many trends would come and go, but Dolly Parton never went out of fashion. Overnight, Dolly's team announcing the heartbreaking news that the superstar passed away at age 80 after bravely facing a brief battle with cancer, adding, Dolly departed her earthly life today at the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center surrounded by loved ones. Her nephew speaking on behalf of her family.
She never saw a door she couldn't open, and the doors she opened made and changed history. My family and I have shared a lifetime of beautiful memories with Dolly, but so have you.
Here you come again.
Dolly sparkled as bright as the rhinestones on her dresses. The painting of her life began in 1946 with a coat of not many colors. She was born into poverty in East Tennessee, baby number 4 of 12.
We grew our own food and had our own animals, so we started wearing sack dresses long before the sacks were fashionable, long before like Dion von Furstenberg and those people started doing that. True. My mama was the first designer I knew, but she just would make things for us out of whatever we had, out of the scraps, and that's where my little coat of many colors came from. Mama sewed the rags.
But Dolly's classmates made fun of her because of her homemade patchwork coat.
My coat of many colors that I was so proud of.
She'd go on to write about that experience in her 1971 hit, Coat of Many Colors, a favorite of hers. Dolly first sang in the church, and by 10 years old, she was performing on the Cass Walker Show in Knoxville.
You know, when I was standing on that stage as a little girl on the Cass Walker Show, and everybody started applauding. When I heard that was just like a shot of adrenaline.
She was hooked. At 13, her first performance at the Grand Ole Opry. The day after she graduated high school, she headed to the bright lights of Nashville, where she met her husband Carl Dean at a laundromat. They were together 59 years. Her first country hit came in 1967, the title, Dumb Blonde.
Just because I'm blonde, don't think I'm dumb, 'cause this dumb blonde ain't nobody's fool.
She quickly showed him that the only thing true about that song was the blonde, penning and singing the iconic Jolene in 1973.
Jolene, 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 please don't take him just because you can.
A tune she said she wrote in 5 minutes after she witnessed a bank teller flirting with her beloved Carl Dean. Just a year later came this little ditty.
Let's welcome back now to our Grand Ole Opry show the pretty little gal with another one of her songs, I'll Always Love You, Dolly Parton.
A farewell song initially written to her mentor, Porter Wagoner, after she decided to break off on her own. The song went to #1 twice, first in 1974, and then 20 years later, after Kevin Costner went hunting for a song for his Bodyguard soundtrack. Dolly recalled hearing that version of the song for the first time driving in her car.
When it went into with the music part where she said, and I honestly thought I was going to have a heart attack. It was one of the most overwhelming things. People say, well, that's Whitney's song. I said, that's fine. You can give her the credit. I just want the cash. It's just one of those simple little songs that says nothing and yet everything.
In the immediate aftermath of The Bodyguard's opening, Dolly had collected $10 million in royalties just from retaining her publishing rights. Hollywood didn't just want her music, they also wanted her.
The thing that people said, you got to change your image. You have got to change your image. And I said, I ain't going to change my image. I'm going to make a fortune out of it.
Soon she was starring in major films like 9 to 5, alongside Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, giving her a chance to stick it to the man.
It gives you some sort of cheap thrill, like knocking over pencils and picking up papers.
And come out of it with a #1 hit.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
In Still Magnolias, she played a hairdresser with a heart of gold.
This is my favorite part. This is the romantic part.
She would collaborate with Kenny Rogers for the iconic duet, Islands in the Stream.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong?
Be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I figure if I'm going to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'm going to have to earn it.
And receive an honorary Oscar at age 79.
To receive this? I mean, that's a blessing of a lifetime.
Never without her signature makeup, nails, and big blonde bouffant.
Well, you already have like 25 #1 hits, 100 million albums sold, so what's a few more to add to that?
It's always good.
There's always room.
My favorite joke, I need the money. It costs a lot to make a person look this cheap. I say, it's not really a joke, though. It's the biggest truth I ever told.
Her famous self-deprecation masked an astute businesswoman who owned restaurants, truck stops, even her very own amusement park, Dollywood. She gave much of her fortune to charities like her Imagination Library.
I think I can, she said.
Mailing more than 300 million books to children. Last year, Dolly announced she had been dealing with complications from kidney stones. But in typical Dolly fashion, she rallied in June, in what would be one of her final appearances for her fans.
Well, how's everybody doing today out in that hot, boiling sun?
Early this summer, she sent word that she wouldn't be able to attend the opening of the newest coaster at Dollywood.
So my national doctor has kind of clipped my wings, saying you ain't traveling this week. So I guess if your doctor tells you you ain't traveling this week, you ain't traveling this week.
Just like her songs, we thought she'd go on forever. Dolly, I will always love you. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Dolly Parton was 80 years old.
What a light lost. Well, Google is also paying tribute to America's sweetheart. If you type in Dolly Parton in Google's search bar, this animated pop-up you're seeing right there, it's going to appear with butterflies and a message that reads, "We'll always love you." I want to let you know that butterflies did hold a special meaning to Parton throughout her life. In the 1970s, she wrote and recorded Love is Like a Butterfly, which became a big hit early in her career. A notable tribute to Dolly Parton is on the list this weekend. Nashville's Grand Ole Opry will dedicate its Saturday night show to the country music legend. The venue says a number of artists will take part. That will include Carly Pearce, whose career actually began at the Dollywood theme park. Pearce got a surprise invitation straight from Parton to become an Opry member in 2021. Outside the Opry right now, Dolly Parton's name is embolized on the marquee that will remain up through Saturday. The life and music of Dolly Parton is a part of a class at IU in Bloomington. It's taught by a professor who admits she came to Dollyverse late in life, but then became an expert on all things Dolly. WTHR Scott Swan has more.
Dolly's a global icon. She has a fan base that's very, very universal.
Sarah Phillips teaches the anthropology of Dolly Parton at IU Bloomington.
You can learn a lot about society and a lot about how society works through Dolly Parton.
Phillips has lots of books and records from Dolly Parton after going on a deep dive about the legendary singer during the COVID pandemic.
Let's just talk about the style, the over-the-top, the hair, the bosom, the clothes, very short stature of about 5 foot, but she was a giant. She always said, I might look fake, but where it counts, I'm real.
Phillips loves Dolly Parton's music, but she also credits Parton with being kind, loving, driven, self-confident, and a unifier. Phillips' students made Dolly Parton a card for her 80th birthday and then delivered it to Nashville, showing lots of interest in the business side of Dolly Parton.
Isn't that fun? I even wrote a song about this little book.
She was just a really sharp businesswoman. She had her hands in so many pies, but she also had such control of her image.
For Phillips, the loss of this legendary singer has been difficult.
I think it was a hard realization for many of us, Dolly fans and Dolly experts, if you will, that she was mortal.
If you have a Ring doorbell or a security camera, your privacy is about to get a massive upgrade, and even the police won't be able to see your footage without permission. So the Amazon-owned company is rolling out new encryption technology called Take, which stands for Throw Away the Key. They say it locks your cloud video so only you have ongoing access. Well, if Ring needs to temporarily access a video for something like a search feature, they have to ask for your approval first. And then once they are done, they literally throw away that virtual key. The company says even law enforcement will be completely blocked from viewing your footage unless you explicitly give them consent. This new encryption will automatically become your default setting starting in September. This terrifying surveillance video out of Asia shows people running for their lives seconds before a devastating mudslide engulfs a busy border crossing. Wow, that is terrifying video right there. You can see it just engulfing the area, taking everything with it. I mean, the whole parking garage, buses, everything just ripped away by the mudslide, that flash flooding. That is absolutely terrifying. Those tension and fear are skyrocketing along the border between Nepal and China today, following a deadly series of flash floods, landslides, and even a moderate earthquake. You can see this is more surveillance video of that mudslide happening, and oh my gosh. Being trapped in that situation has to be terrifying. We know right now at least 72 people have been killed in Nepal along the surging Bahodi Kashi River, and another 9 are confirmed dead on the Chinese side of the border. Hundreds of people are currently missing, including nearly 400 tourists and Hindu pilgrims from the United States, Britain, and India. I mean, it just doesn't stop. That is a powerful mudslide continuously pushing here. Even after everything is ripped up and destroyed. That is incredible video. Well, to make matters worse, a 4.4 magnitude earthquake jolted the border region early today, potentially triggering more collapses. We're going to have more in your evening news as we find out more from across the globe on this tragic, devastating mudslide. Well, if you think AI is an existential threat, you're in good company. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates is sounding the alarm on artificial intelligence. Gates also told the New York Times the industry knows what is going on and is downplaying it. He said, behind the scenes, tech insiders are very worried. Here's Gates' conversation on AI worries with CNN's Anderson Cooper. This is a quick portion of it.
Bill, you said that there's no plan to ease the entry into the AI era and that we underestimate the impact of AI. In what way?
Well, over the last year, these AIs have gotten dramatically more powerful, even faster than I expected. And they're now capable of causing cyber attack risk, bioterrorism risk, psychosocial risk. And I have to say, I'm kind of shocked that the exact criteria that we review these models with and the actions we take to minimize the harms are really completely missing. And the broad dialogue, we get all of society talking about the trade-offs here, that's just not taking place. And so, we've got to minimize these harms through careful review and criteria, and we have to accelerate the good stuff, or else, we could have a complete backlash that AI would suffer from.
If you have been stretching every single dollar lately, you're not alone. Americans are officially pinching pennies as inflation continues to bite. New data from the Commerce Department confirms we drastically cut back on our spending last month in July. So after a decent increase in June, spending was completely flat last month once you adjust for those high prices. Instead of spending, we are trying to save. The national savings rate ticked up to 3% in July, and that's mainly because people are holding onto their cash rather than walking into stores. For millions of Americans living with diabetes, keeping track of your health is about to get a whole lot easier. The FDA has just signed off on a new dual monitoring device designed to track two crucial numbers at the exact same time. Instead of juggling multiple tests, this tech combines them, giving patients and doctors a clearer picture of what's going on. ABC's Yori Benajoud explains how this simple new device is a major game changer for so many families.
It's a first-of-its-kind device that may help detect a medical emergency before it's too late. The FDA authorizing Abbott's wearable device that helps continuously track both blood sugar and ketones. This is the device here. The company plans to have it available later this year in the U.S. for patients 2 years old and up. CDC numbers show that more than 40 million Americans are living with diabetes in the U.S. and must carefully monitor their blood sugar levels. But there is also the risk of diabetic ketoacidosis, or DKA, which is when the body lacks the ability to use blood sugar for energy and begins breaking down fat. That can lead to a buildup of ketones in the body, which can be life-threatening. It's a complication that usually develops slowly with symptoms of increased thirst or needing to use the bathroom more often, but then can progress into fast breathing, headache, and nausea or vomiting. The new device can help send automatic alerts if ketones reach a concerning threshold. It comes after 6 clinical trial studies showed that the device identified elevated levels before the onset of DKA, giving patients yet another option to help manage their diabetes. Yuri Benajoud, ABC News, New York.
Well, that Chucky Mask terrorizer accused of scaring pedestrians, you can see him right there, not very pleasant or welcoming, but he is now finally behind bars, and police say he may have done it all just for social media clout. U.S. Marshals tracked down 22-year-old Zamir Hughes, that's him right there, in Las Vegas, and then they arrested him yesterday. Now, police say Hughes terrorized more than a dozen people while wearing the creepy Halloween mask that you see right there. That looks like a porcelain baby. That is terrifying. And in one terrifying encounter, he allegedly asked a woman, "Are you ready to die?" before chasing her, causing her to fall and get injured. Investigators think he was doing it all just to get views on social media, but now, yeah, the joke is over. Hughes is sitting in a Nevada jail awaiting extradition back to Pennsylvania, where he faces severe charges, including aggravated assault and terroristic threats. Target is facing a massive wave of backlash and outrage today over an offensive Halloween costume depicting blackface. The retail giant quickly pulled a costume which contains 19th century minstrel show imagery, and it's now off the shelves, but critics say the damage is done. arguing Target is still missing the mark as it struggles to rebound from recent DEI and Pride boycotts. Christian Farr has more on the backlash.
As soon as I saw the image, it was very clear to me how offensive and harmful it was.
Kate Luan Redling has been on the front line of protests that have been aimed at Target. Redling is part of the grassroots organization, the People's Lobby, whose members have been arrested protesting outside of Target stores. For some Black history experts, this now removed online Target ad of a Halloween costume evokes the days of blackface and 19th century minstrel shows. Redling says the ad proves Target needs to alter course.
What I don't see is any change at the corporate level. And in fact, what just happened with this Halloween costume, horrific Halloween costume, is further demonstration that you are missing the mark.
Target did post an apology on social media, calling the costume offensive and saying it would look closely at how this happened and what needs to change to ensure this won't happen again.
I hope they do that. I hope they follow through with that. And I would encourage consumers and media outlets, reporters, to push them on what they found as a result of that investigation.
Northwestern Associate Professor Danielle Bell focuses on communication and culture. Bell says the Halloween costume, which depicts an oversized clown-like mouth on the face of a Black person, has a connection to the Jim Crow South and the troubling images of blackface. Bell says Target is still recovering from DEI and even Pride merchandise boycotts.
Target has been for some years now trying to work their way out of some of these reputational damaging instances, and I think they still have a lot of work to do.
We're going to go back to your top stories now. If you are about to jump on the highway this afternoon, avoid I-469. And we actually found out new information. We know that this crash was fatal. There was a crash on I-469 this afternoon. It was around 1:45, and it was at between Wheelock Road and St. Joe Center Road. And we know in that crash that at least one person has died. Now, it took a couple hours to get that crash cleaned up. There was traffic sitting there for about 2 hours where you're looking right now. You can see it moving now, but those southbound lanes are still closed. The northbound lanes are only open, so avoid that area. Again, this involved 2 vehicles. This is all confirmed by the Allen County Sheriff's Department. We know 2 vehicles were involved. It looks like a head-on collision. A black Jeep was going the wrong way northbound and southbound lanes and collided with a white Ram work truck. Oh, wrong person. This is me. That wasn't me. All right. Well, that's all we have for you today here on 21 Alive News Plus. But again, it is a first alert weather day. So make sure you have your weather app turned on, those notifications on, because you're going to want to know if severe storms come your way. Plus, we have new reporter stories coming up at 4 with, again, we'll have looks at your first alert weather and much more. For now, I'm Kara Przuchek. Have a great day, everyone.